Hi, everybody. We are continuing our lesson on calculating tips. So last week we worked specifically on calculating a 15% tip. Now, with that, you should have the fundamentals needed for calculating really any percentage tip. We're just going to work on 10 to 25. That's really the average in terms of tipping, depending on a lot of different factors. Different people like to tip different ways. And what where you are, what they're doing, whatever it might be, you might tip just a little bit differently. So, how can we calculate any percentage? But right now we're going to focus on 10 to 25%. So everything really is the same. So we're just going to review a couple of the terms and the steps prior to doing a potential problem here. All right. So first we have the term subtotal. So subtotal is the total cost of goods before tax, tip, shipping, whatever it might be. So it's just the cost of the goods. So if I'm buying, doesn't matter, a sub and chips and a drink, the subtotal is how much those cost altogether. So added all together. So what are the steps? So the steps are 1, add items to find subtotal. 2, move the decimal 2 places to the left on percentage. Example, 23% equals 0.23. We're really going to be talking a fair amount about that today, and you can actually see right here, this is just showing you kind of, that one actually has an error. That is not correct. That should be 0.16. I made an error there. I don't know if I can, I'm not very good at changing this. Will it let me point? Oh, it does. All right, there we go. And fixed. So just showing you kind of that conversion. So if you, and we'll talk about that. Anyways, and number 3 is to multiply the subtotal by the percentage with the decimal. So let's do an example problem right now. Where I can get my pencil out, and we'll go from there. Okay. Let's let me use my finger. Yep. Ooh, that is interesting. Why did I do that? Okay, I guess I can't really use my finger like that. Oh, let's erase that, because that looks silly sauce. All right, so if I have a, what did I say? We're gonna buy, what in the monkeys? I just did the same thing twice. Delete pencil. So if I have a $5, why is it doing that? All right, I'm going to pause and figure this out. All right, I can't figure out the pen right now, so we're going to work without the pen. So what I did is I did add in text here. So we have 3 different items. We have a sub, some chips, and a pop. So I'm going to look at my steps. My steps say to add items to find subtotal. So I have 3 items. I'm going to add those up. So you can get a calculator out or whatever you need. So boop, beep, beep, boop, boop, bop, bop. So it comes out to $8.75. So that's my subtotal. All right. So I got my subtotal by adding up these different items. 5 plus 250 is 750 plus $1.25 is $8.75. So now let's move on to step 2. Move decimal 2 places to the left on the percentage. So let's say I said find a 22% tip on this purchase. So I would take 22%. So 22%. So the number is 22. Now here's where I wish I had my pencil, but I don't. But just follow my cursor here. So if my decimal would normally be right here, because it'd be 22 point, right? So that's the decimal goes to the right of the ones place. So I'd move it 2 places to the left. 1, 2. So my decimal would become 0.22. So I move that decimal from here to 1, 2 places to left, so it goes right there now, 0.22. And you can see, oh, actually I didn't do 22% on here, but so generally speaking, it's 0.21 for 21%, 20%, 0.20, etc., etc. So now I've done number 2. For 22%, I want to do a 22% tip. So my number is 0.22. So I'm going to create a new thing here, if it lets me. So now number 3, we need to multiply the subtotal by percentage with decimal. So I'm going to do the subtotal, which is $8.75, and I'm going to multiply, so usually in a calculator that shows up as X, multiply it by that decimal, which is 0.22. So I actually need my calculator for this. So I'm going to get my calculator out. 8.75 was my subtotal. Now I'm multiplying by 0.22. That's the decimal of my percentage. All right, so when I plug that into my calculator, I get 1.925. Let me think here. But it's money. So remember, with money, we only go 2 places after the decimal because I don't have $1.925. I have $1.92. We're not going to worry about rounding right now. Proper rounding would give $1.93, but I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned that we're making sure we're using the 2 decimal places to the right there. So money always has 2 decimal places, or 2 places to the right of the decimal. So my 22% tip on my sub chips and pop with a subtotal of $8.75 would be $1.92. So I found the subtotal, I added them up to get $8.75. I moved the decimal places, the decimal 2 places to the left to get 0.22. I multiplied the subtotal by that percentage, the 0.22, to get $1.92. So that would be the 22% tip on $8.75. I'm going to pause this and I'm going to do one more as an example. All right, we're back at it, and we have a new problem here. So you can see that instead of a 22% tip, we're going to be leaving a 25% tip, and we have some different items. So we have chicken parm for $12.50, $6.50 for pasta, $3.75 for lemonade. So let's figure out our steps. Step 1, add the items to find the subtotal. So maybe pause this if you want to follow along. Give you a second to pause. Pause. Find the subtotal and pause. Welcome back. So hopefully you found the subtotal. So you added up those 3 prices. And when you do that, you get $12.50 plus $6.50 is $19. Then plus $3.75 will give you $22.75. So our subtotal is $22.75. That decimal is super important, so don't forget that. Now, we're leaving a 25% tip, so I'm just going to write that right below here. So if we have a 25% tip, 25%, if I'm going to move that decimal 2 places to the left, boop, a boop, you're going to get 0.25. So now I'm on to step 3. So, it says step 2. Silly Mr. Rodriguez. That is wrong. It is step 3. So we have $22. Let me get so we have our subtotal, which is $20.75. And we are going to be multiplying the subtotal by the percentage as a decimal, which is 0.25 to figure out the tip. So in our calculators, Here's my previous answer. We have this way, $2.75 times 0.25 equals, it's a big number. Let's figure out what it comes out as. So this is money, but we'll start it off as 5.6875. All right. So thinking back to our last problem, what did I say? With money, we only take two decimals to the right, two places to the right of the decimal. So the tip that is given for this delicious chicken parm will be $5.68. Again, not worrying about the rounding. So just a quick note before we move on. That's a much bigger tip than in the previous example for the sub and the chips. Now, what you'll notice is that the more money you spend on food and or the higher tip that you give, the more money that the tip costs. So if I go to an expensive restaurant, usually my tip is also going to be much more. That is just how tips work. It's based on the cost of the good. So the more that you pay, the more that you pay for the food, the more you will pay for your tip. So $5.68 is the tip for that example. I hope that this helps. So you have 3 questions in your assessment in Schoology. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. We will be working on this on Thursday, Zoom at 11:15. Thank you, everybody, and I will see you soon. Bye.